Hello, thank you for clicking on the video. My name's Steve and this is Everyman Fragrances. Now today I want to talk to you about this fragrance, Insidious by Insider Parfums, because this fragrance could well be the best Aventus clone ever. And I know there's a lot to choose from. Okay, before I give you any more information on this bad boy, I must emphasise I paid for this with my own money. There was no freebies, no free samples, free bottles, discounts, influencer, shit, shilling, nothing. Okay, I've got no affiliate links, discount codes, nothing. I just paid for this with my money. I bought it through their Etsy store though, rather than their website. I'll link both down below. I think it retails for 79 quid. I did find, I managed to use an Etsy wide discount code that was on for like a day or something. It was like 10% off. So I think it retails at 79 quid and I paid with delivery about 73 or 74 quid, something like that. So yeah, let's just get that out of the way. I'm not shilling, I've not been asked to do this review, sent anything. I just paid for this because I really wanted to try it. Now, before I kind of tell you about this specific fragrance, if you don't know who Insider Parfums are, they are essentially a clone house. One of the co-owners is Dan Rothschild, who is an influencer, which he'll like me calling him. He's on Instagram as the Fragrance Weirdo. He's also got his own fragrance house called Soma Parfums. But this is, so Insider Parfums is something that he did with another guy, where they basically wanted to give people an opportunity to try essentially sort of classic discontinued fragrances that you can't get hold of anymore. So rather than just cloning stuff that's already available and sort of, you know, for sort of cheaper or whatever, basically the principle being that you could get something that you can't get anywhere else. It's just discontinued. So they've sort of brought it back. They've given it a second life, as it were. So if you go to their website, you can see that they've done they've got one for Plum Japonais. There's a fragrance called D'Amber Wabsolute. If you're not sure what that is a clone of, then you're clearly not into fragrances that much. So there's a few on there. So traditionally they have done discontinued fragrances. Obviously this is an Aventus clone, which is not discontinued, but they had enough kind of interest and feedback to do an inspiration of vintage Aventus, which you can't get hold of anymore. As most people know, the current Aventus, I mean, some people still love it and fair play, but apparently, this is before my time, but it's not, you know, it's a shadow of its former self apparently. I wouldn't know because I've never smelled original vintage Aventus. I've only smelt more recent batches over the last few years since I've kind of been into fragrances. But yeah, so apparently that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to bring back to life the original Aventus DNA as it was when it was released. So it's much stronger sort of performance, essentially stronger concentration, though officially not, but you know, like basically a lot more oomph to it. And it's got some more of those things that have kind of disappeared through the years, like the sort of smokiness, the oak moss and all those things, which I'll get into in a minute when I talk about notes. But yeah, that's the principle behind this. They wanted to bring back a vintage batch of Aventus that you just can't get hold of anymore. So you know what, I was a bit nervous in all honesty. So I bought this because I thought, well, this is my opportunity to smell, you know, a vintage Aventus. Because I honestly didn't know if I'd like this, because I like the current Aventus. I don't love it. I don't quite get the hype, but I happily wear it. I do like it. It's a very pleasant fragrance. But I did wonder actually if I would like the original, if it might be a bit too much for me, if I would like the idea of a smokiness to it. I wasn't so sure about. So it was a bit of a risk buying this, but you know what? I'm really, really glad that I did. As I've said 1,000 times on this channel, I'm not an Aventus snob, connoisseur, aficionado, or even some sort of batch wanker. So I'm not, if you've come here expecting me to break this down and compare it to this batch and that batch and different elements of that's not what you're going to get. I'm not that guy, I'm sorry. I do have a decant of Aventus, which I don't even know the batch number. I'll put it on the screen and what year that is. But I use that when I've sort of been comparing Aventus clones and reviewing them and stuff. But again, this is a vintage one, so which predates that batch that I have. So it's not really going to work as such to kind of compare it. So I'm not really going to bother. So with that in mind though, I was also kind of, as I said, I was quite conscious that I wouldn't like this because I typically like mass appealing, clean, fresh, fruity fragrances, which the sort of the current Aventus very much is. But the older batch, when people talk about this smoky element and the birch being a lot more prominent and the oak moss coming through, I was like, I'm not sure if that's going to work for me actually. I don't like the idea of smoke. I don't like oak moss when it's quite heavy in like fougères and things. I'm not really a big fan of. So I was a bit unsure. It's sort of with trepidation that I bought this, but I really wanted to try and experience the original Aventus because I missed it, like that original formulation. So, as I said, I'm really glad I did, because when I first smelt this, I've already sprayed it on my hand just like before filming this video. When I first smelt it, the first thing I noticed is that it's really super smooth, in my opinion. It's like, you know, like Club de Nuit Intense, for example, that can be very sharp and screechy in the opening, and you've really got to give it a little bit of time to die down. It's quite almost lemony in the open rather than sort of pineapple, and it's quite synthetic and sharp and not that pleasant, to be honest. And a lot of other clones are similar, that where the pineapple is quite synthetic and it's quite kind of, and you need to let it just die down and dissipate a little bit before it kind of starts really sort of smelling good. Didn't get that with this. This straight away I thought was super, super smooth. It's really pleasant, and what I like is I could, even my basic bitch nose could start detecting some of those more subtle elements that people mention, like the smoke and the birch and the oak moss, but they all just seem to blend together and come together really well without any of them being sort of too heavy, too prominent. It's really well balanced. It's not an unbalanced fragrance at all. They're all there, all of the elements, but not, yeah, it's not disjointed. It doesn't feel like a mishmash or a mix. It's just really smooth. You can detect them all, but they're working well together as a unit. That's the thing that I smell. So I smelled that and I was like, oh, this is really nice. Like the pineapple is just really like there, it's noticeable. It's not too over the top and heavy, but mainly it's not synthetic. It's a really pleasant pineapple. And I started getting that subtle smokiness as well, which I've never really experienced in any Aventus before. It's not, again, not very heavy. It's only because, you know, I know that this smoky element is there that I'm sort of looking for it and going, oh yeah, I get it, it's there. So yeah, I was really kind of quite excited. I started smelling it and I was like, okay, I can start getting the hype for Aventus. The oak moss is there, obviously more in the kind of dry down, but the birch and stuff it's all there. And of course the ambergris and everything, it's all there, but it's just in a nice blend. Like it opens just really nice and fresh. The pineapple's there, the apple, the black currant, which again, a lot of people reference is not so prominent in newer batches. It's all there in a really well blended package. Now, again, it sounds like I'm really sort of going over the top and hyping this. So I must emphasize again, I've paid for this with my own money. I've not been asked to do this. I'm not sponsored or anything or paid. I'm doing this off my own back. Now, again, just to kind of offer some balance here, this is still relative. I'm still not like a massive like Aventus guy that's like, so I wasn't getting a boner and shouting off the rooftops about it. But I was like, damn, this smells really good. I can really appreciate Aventus, and I get it. And I've not owned it long, and you can see I've given it, oh, the light on that is not so good, but you can see that I've given it quite a lot of wearings actually. So I'm really pleased that I've got this fragrance. Performance wise is really good. Now it's not some ultimate beast mode, like can't get it off your skin, kind of like number 4 from Thomas Cosmalo, or even I don't think it's quite as good performance wise as the Chronic by Insider Parfums, but again, that's a sort of sweeter, heavier, richer fragrance, so it should last longer and it should carry more oomph. But this does still perform and last well. It's a very good performance, I would say. I get a good couple of hours of projection and it lasts quite most of the working day, so we're looking at like seven hours quite comfortably. Of course, it's a little bit more subtle at the end, you can still smell it, but certainly if you spray it on clothes, I've kind of put on a hoodie the next day and I can still smell it on clothes and things. And I was like, oh damn, this smells good. So performance wise, it's really, really good, which again does help add value to the cost of it. So it just makes it better value when you're getting really good performance. So should you buy this fragrance then? In my humble opinion, yes, I think you should. Of course, if you don't like Aventus, don't. That would be stupid. Why would you? Or if you've got an Aventus clone that's cheaper than this and you're 100% happy with it, totally works for you, you know, it does what you need it to do, then again, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. Then you probably don't need to try this. However, if you have been exploring different Aventus clones, or if you own Aventus and you want to see what the original formulation smells like, as I say, I don't have original formulation, but this certainly smells different to the Aventus that I've smelled and the clones that I've smelled. I think this is definitely worth smelling, because to me, it sort of unlocked this idea that Aventus, that like the Aventus hype, I kind of get it now, like the original Aventus. I was smelling this, it made me appreciate it, and I could get why people got hyped up for Aventus, because this is super smooth. Of course, it's super versatile, smells really good, but I just love the fact this is so smooth, it's not scratchy, and I can smell all the different elements without any of them being overpowering or too strong or too synthetic. They just all smell really nice, really natural, really well blended. Yeah, I definitely think it's worth owning. For the price, I think it's really good value as well, but the fact that the performance is there as well. So, you know, you're getting really good performance for your money. And again, I'm very conscious that I'm really now hyping this fragrance, so I must emphasize, I paid my own money for this. I've not been asked to do any videos, not sponsored. I paid about £73 for that 50ml bottle, and when it runs out, I will probably buy another bottle. So yeah, please don't think I'm kind of shilling, because I'm really not. I'm not an Aventus guy. Let me know if you try this fragrance. Are you going to buy this fragrance? If you do buy it as a result of this video, let me know. I say no kickbacks, no affiliate codes. Just let me know. I'll be curious. Hopefully you found this helpful. Apologies that I can't really offer much counter balance to it, other than the fact that you can get cheaper clones of Aventus, like Explorer, which I'm a big fan of. So that's the only negative that I can really say with this, to be honest. Thank you for watching. If you've tried this fragrance, comment below. If you've got another Aventus clone that you love more, or you've tried and you rave and that's your number one, by all means comment down below, because that's probably why people are here. They're looking for the best Aventus clone. So comment down below what your favorite Aventus clone is, for all the other people that watch this video, as well as myself. Thanks again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe and all that shit, and I will see you for a video soon. Take care, much love.